Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean, and you are listening and watching the podcast on Prince. I am joined here by a young man, the next generation, as I'm gonna like to call him right now, but his name is
I like that. I like
Randy. Sir, how are you, man?
Man, I'm blessed to be here, man. I'm excited. I've been a fan of the podcast, Jews, the podcast on Prince for like years.
Wow.
With you, shout out to Big Sexy if he's listening. Everybody else I bet that comes on, man. Y'all are the foundation of fandom when it comes to
Whoa.
Prince and
Whoa.
people coming in if they want to listen into like especially fans of color, they want to come in and have an easier way to transition to Prince and have a voice similar like you that can talk like us, but yet also can bridge all the generations, all the creed and nationality and color to all the fans here. So we're all connected through Prince. It just comes out a unique voice. I applaud you and brother Big Sexy for that. So thank you.
Well, man, let me speak on the behalf. Let me accept this award on behalf of Big Sex and say, man, thank you. We appreciate that. Wow, that the way you just said that and said that. I don't. I take that in good, but God, that's a lot of. I never think about it like that, but I appreciate that, and I'm gonna stand up for that. So yeah, salute you to you for that. Listen, um, we're gonna get into some good conversation today. Hopefully, it's good. I wanted to just talk about how we met, though, and I think that'll kind of lead us into where we're going. So we met at the symposium by the great D'Angela. This was the Triple Threat Symposium, 40th anniversary of the 1999 album, along with What Time Is It and the Vanity Six Project. And we met there in Brooklyn.
Yes,
You
sir.
came out to the event. It was a 3-day event. You came on Saturday,
Yeah.
and we met at I don't know, it was in between or at the end of the day or something of the panels that day.
And end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
End of the day. And what was your other partner that was with you?
Oh, Tariq.
Tyreek. Salute to
Tariq,
Tyreek.
yeah, my brother
Yeah,
right there.
two brothers came up, man, introduced themselves. We started chopping it up. And I think the conversation, I think you were saying like, there was some aspirations to, start your own podcast or at least have a place that you could have to discuss about Prince and different things. But, from a different perspective in terms of, not some old head like me or Big Sexy or something, but, a younger, uh, younger perspective on things, man. I'm like, say less. Let's do it, or anything I can do to help. And so that's kind of why we're here today. But I think it's an important conversation. It's an important part of the Prince fandom that needs to be at the forefront, man. Is all these different voices, in particular, the next generation, the new power generation of fans that's going to take this thing to a whole other level. The next 20 years, 30 years. I can only pray that I'm here. More than likely, I might not be, and that's cool. But people like yourself, man, y'all the future of this.
Yeah.
So with that said, man, I mean, like, what's your perspective on Prince, and how you got into Prince? Take us through that journey.
Yeah. So I'll take you on a cool journey. So I'm a I'm a coder. Coda is the children of deaf adults, right? So if you remember that movie that came out a few years ago, that famous one, I was like, that could have been me. That could have been my movie. But I grew up with a deaf father, but also a hard of hearing mother. So first and foremost, the love of music came through my mother first. So she was a big Michael Jackson fan, as a brother like me or a child of the '90s
Yeah,
was born into. Most of the black children, I guess you can say, were introduced to Michael first before Prince. Because
same.
he was right, more open, family friendly. Even though around 94, 95, that history, he was over there cussing up Storm in the History album and all that. But neither nor there, right? But still, that was my first introduction to music, and that was the guy I stuck with growing up, right?
Mm.
However, I would say like in the middle of the early 2000s, I found my mother's CD collection, and that CD collection was the Hits 2 CD of Prince.
Mm.
So I took that joint, it had, I think, I Want to Be a Lover, and had all the different songs in it. I think Nothing Compares to You, Low Red Corvette. However, the first song that I really attached to on Prince was, believe it or not, Get Off. And the reason why I attached on Get Off was
Mm.
because that beginning of the song, he starts screaming. I can't let me do it. I mean, I do it, but when he did that, I thought that was the funniest thing I ever heard in my life. So I kept replaying it over and over and over again. Right? I was
And
like
how old were you around this? I'm sorry.
eight or seven, 8 or 7.
Oh,
So I
okay.
thought, what kind of person has this kind of voice? Right? So fast forward a little bit, I'm a teenager now, high school started, and that's around '09, and that's when Michael passed away. So
Okay. Wow.
first and foremost, I'm a diehard Michael fan. I know every little details about Michael.
Okay.
So that fandom, whatever y'all want me, I could talk about a lot of things over there as well. But however, there was a side of me that was missing. Like I'm looking for something to leech on, to learn,
Mm.
and that is where Little Red Corvette came on the radio, and I was like, let me go that direction. Let me go in the Prince direction. And that is where I went. I went over there. I started collecting little songs like Little Red Corvette in 1999. I saw all these different songs together. I
Mm.
think it had like maybe 1 or 2 bootleg songs that I didn't know it was bootlegs at the time. I put it in a compilation. Listened to
And how
that for
were
a
you
while.
getting these songs? Where were you getting them from?
Yo, it was YouTube, mostly YouTube, and that's when, yeah,
Mm.
this was when Prince had his foot on YouTube. But there were a few loosies out there that you can download it from, right? And also torrent sites, like I had a time FrostWire, for my FrostWire people out there that know it wasn't that crazy like LimeWire, but download that wrong file, bye bye computer, right?
Mhm.
Luckily, I didn't have that issue, right? So this was around like 2020. I'm discovering the guy, and then I said, you know what? Since I'm gonna be a fan, let me jump into the album. So I think the first album I jumped into was, it's either Purple Rain or 1999. It was one of those two albums. So
Yeah.
I want to say Purple Rain because I was like, let me watch the movie first. Blew
Mm.
my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a great guy. So I listened to Purple Rain,
I'm gonna
easy listening.
stop you just right there for a second because I'm sure you see there are a lot of fans that when you say Purple Rain, ah, why you what? And that was the album that got me into it back then, and so here we are many, many years later. That's the first album you go to and you watch the movie. Just I had
Yes,
to say that.
yes. And when we get into the business aspect, we'll talk about Purple Rain and all that later on,
Okay.
and how that can be introduced to the next generation. But I digress. So yeah, Purple Rain. I did that for like a month. I was like, okay, I'm on to the next thing. 1999, cool. I'm on to the next thing.
Let
And
me
then
let me take you back. You're
yeah,
going kind of fast. When you
yeah.
saw the movie, though, what did you think about that?
Oh,
It had to be like a
I
whole
was like,
it's a
it.
different
So
time and everything.
so I remember I watched the movie on BT. So, I didn't get to see the things that, other people just say, say.
Yeah, because they
Had
had
a,
the Tonka scene on BET that they just cut away
oh,
from.
so, so I remember vividly. So it's when Apple turns around and she's about to take it, right? But they
Mhm.
cut that, and they cut that until where she's like looking up to Prince and walking towards him, then jumps
Okay.
back out.
Sort
That's
of
where they cut it.
implied. Okay. You know
Yeah.
what?
And
I'm
then
not mad at that because it leaves it for anybody can watch it, if you're not
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? But I will tell you, and I'm sure you've seen it, seeing that for the first time in the theater, not knowing what to expect, and never really seen nothing like that at the time too, I was like, "Dang."
I bet you like, he for the brothers. He's watching out for the brothers.
What I did is I turned around the movie theater and looked at my mom because she was sitting behind, I was like,
I
"Yeah,
didn't know.
hey."
I didn't
But
know.
yeah,
Listen, I understand. I understand. Well, for me, it'd be different because we're you had the Playboy channel. Anyways, we're not gonna go into all that.
that's right, it's a different
Yeah,
yeah, you
it's a
have
different
access to
world.
all kind of stuff we never
You're
even
right,
imagined.
around that
That's
time.
interesting.
But anyways, that's another story for another subject. But yes, watching the movie, yeah, it blew my mind. I remember after watching the movie, I took a walk outside of my neighborhood. I was like, yeah, I'm about to dive into this guy. I'm about to do
Mm,
it,
mm.
and I'm glad I did. I took that rabbit hole, and went straight down. I mean, I listened. So I'm an album guy. I listen to album after album after album. And what I discovered about Prince early on was that he had a very conceptual mind,
Mm,
a way to create things. And religion was always in the backbone of his music. He was a very spiritual person.
mm,
And, and shout out to people that does dive into the spiritual realm of Prince. So I think that needs to be delved in a bit more as well. Cause that was his music was all about, it
yeah.
was otherworldly. So I think that's what really grabbed me towards it. And plus at the time I was a born again Christian boy. So I was going to church a
Okay.
lot.
Okay.
So Rainbow Children was low-key my best friend at the time.
Interesting.
Even though I had a lot of Jehovah's Witness things going on, but it was low-key my best friend at the time.
So you
But
went
yeah,
from Purple Rain, and you said 1999 as well too,
yeah.
right?
And then I jumped into Rainbow Children for a little bit in the beginning because I heard Rainbow Children 10 minutes. I was like, oh, I need to listen to this album. So I dived into that. Then I jumped back and started listening to like Prince, Dirty Mind,
Okay.
Parade, until the fateful summer of 2010. That's where I got to Signs of the Time. That was the only thing I listened to for like 3 to 4 months. And that was like,
Great.
yep, this is my favorite album of all time.
What
So
about that album struck a chord with
that was Dorothy Parker. When I heard that for the first
you?
time, and I was like, this is the type of sound I was looking for. Mundane, basement sounding,
Mm,
crazy concept, crazy story. The vibe was just like you walked into like a 40s nightclub, smoked out. You just listen to this little guy where just talking about taking a bubble bath with somebody. But it just and using the drum into a different technique, it was just like mind blown. And then Housequake, you
mm,
got the look. It was just hit after hit. And that, of course, growing up in New York City, The Quiet Storm, 107.5 WBLS, and before then, Kiss FM 98.7 FM, shout out to both stations, Adore was always played
okay.
time after time. So when I heard Adore, I was like, oh, that's on this album? Oh, this album is a certified banger. You know what I'm saying? It just fit everything that I wanted because I was also an inspiring musician and songwriter myself.
Okay.
So Signs of Time and knowing that Prince did all the instruments
Mhm.
before I didn't know all the details, but like just realizing it's like if he can do it, I can do it.
Mm.
You
Very
know,
interesting.
yeah.
I wanna
So
ask
mhm.
you just to jump around real quick, 'cause you mentioned
Yeah, go
something.
right
So
ahead.
you
Yeah.
didn't know the details. When was it now that you're listening to the music, where was the point when you realized, "Yo, this cat is doing all this" like, when did you start to get into that and then, like, the understanding of the band and, the lore of it? Were you aware of the lore of Prince when you were listening to it at this time, or did that come a little later?
That came a little later, because I knew it was just a black skinny guy playing guitar, singing about Kiss and all that. It was until like a few albums and when I kept saying written, performed, and composed, arranged, and produced by Prince. And I remember at the age of 12 when I started writing songs, I would always write written and produced by
Mm,
Randy Ferguson. So and you take me back, right? So there used to be a lyric site back in 2006. You used to go to the library and had like a lyrics page. And again, I was into Michael, so YouTube was big. I haven't heard a history album in a long time. I haven't listened to any like the Bad album. I haven't listened to that. My mom didn't have that. So
right.
imagine hearing Jessica Friends in 2005. In my mind, I'm like 12, I'm 11. I'm like, oh, this is an amazing song. So on that website, it had the linear notes. It always had like written and composed by. So when
Okay.
I saw Michael Jackson's name for Billie Jean, Beat It, Want to Be Starting, so all these songs, I was like, huh. So if he can write songs, I can write songs. So I started writing on my stuff written and
Okay.
composed by. So when I saw Prince written, produced, arranged, composed, I was like, I want that. So that's when I started to do research. And I think it was like books, articles online, and I was reading Prince.org.
Mm, mhm.
And I got to Prince.org at the time where it was kind of like dead in the water. it
Mm.
was a lot of stuff going on at that website. But yeah, Wikipedia, I was
Okay.
diving into a lot, different articles I was diving into a lot. And I started picking up books here and there.
Mm,
Yeah, it was just a lot of diving in. And now I would say this. Around the Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day. I thought both albums came out in 80. No, yeah, both albums came out in 84, right? So I had like time
Okay.
placements wrong because it was a lot of history.
Yeah,
It was a
it
lot.
could be overwhelming, I would imagine, like, there's a lot.
It was. So it took me time to realize, oh, this happened in 84, this happened in 85, this happened in 86. And
Mm,
even still to this day where I'm learning new details about something, I'm like, wait, that happened on that? I thought that happened on
mm,
here. Like
mm,
for example, American in Paris, supposedly, is
mm.
supposed to be on the Diamonds and Pearls Super to Bless. I thought it was made in 89. And it was. In a second version that he
Gotcha,
made
yeah, he's
in
good.
92. I was like, I'm confused. So it's a lot of details I'm still learning. But at that time, I was trying to pick up everything. But then when I realized, oh, he did all the music by himself. Oh,
Mm.
this is a guy I really got to dive into. And then that's when that George Lopez stuff was going on. Lopez and I. So every time he was on TV, I'm trying to watch him. Trying to understand who he truly is and what he's all about. While at the same time doing my research. So it was a lot going on at that time.
So, you mentioned his performances. Uh, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen him live? Yes or no, and you can speak on that. But then also the performances that you may have watched on TV, were there ones that really stood out for you?
Yeah, so thank the Lord God Almighty and bless my grandmother to this very day. I did see him live once,
Thank you.
2013, Mohegan Sun. I told my grandmother when I saw the tickets, I was like, Grandma, I don't want nothing for Christmas. I just want these Prince tickets because
Mm,
I'll be damned if I didn't get to see Michael live
mm.
and Prince is around the East Coast. I'll be damned if something happens to him, and I'll be mad because I could have had the chance. So thank God I saw him live. Thank God he played the battle. Not no not the he did play the Battle of Dorothy Parker, but also Strange Relationship on piano. That was the only time I wanted to see that man play that song live on piano because the Love Sexy him jamming on piano, he was funky with it,
Mhm.
So when he did that live, I was like, you love me, you do, don't you, Lord?
I love it.
And then also I didn't, so I'm still kind of new into the fandom, so I didn't know about the encores.
Oh, did
so
you leave early or something, or
so I stuck around to one, and that the first encore was Days of Wild. We had the bullhorn, he was
oh,
blowing in the mic,
okay.
right? I thought he was done after that, so I'm starting to leave. Then I hear damn, damn, damn. I was like, oh, what I forgot about Purple Rain? Let me go back inside. I forgot he didn't play that yet. Let me go back inside. But what was your other question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was saying, were there any TV performances that stood out?
So definitely Arsenio. I stayed up to watch Arsenio live. That was
Which
fun
one?
to
Which
watch.
Arsenio? There's a
Oh,
couple.
not 92, brother. The 2000 and
Wow, you
what was that?
said it like,
13,
of
14?
course not 92. What? We go.
I wasn't a thought back then. So there you go.
I got you. So you're talking about the
But
newer, the
the
last
newer one,
one. Okay,
that's one, 2013. Yeah,
gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. That was cool. That was great. That was I feel like I was part of history on that. And then also Jimmy Fallon. I remember I was in college at the time. I remember I was at my boy's apartment, and there was biddies around, and I was like, nah, I gotta go to watch Prince.
Hilarious.
And I
Wow,
did see when he threw that guitar up in the air and it came right back down. Oh, that was fun to watch. That
hilarious. Okay,
was fun to
wow,
watch. Yeah, those are my favorite moments. Um,
man,
yeah,
it's interesting. Like I said, I love hearing it from your perspective because it's like there's so much that's just sitting there. The catalog is available to you. You know what I mean? You can jump in to wherever you want all at
yeah,
once. I could imagine
yeah,
it would feel like it was just like there's so much. And then and I love the fact that you stated this. And I wish he could have seen this that you got on YouTube or one of these services. That's how you could discover and find the music, which is for better or worse. I can see from a business artistic standard, but from a fan, how are we going to be able to get access to the music if it's locked away or if it's just, you got to go buy all these albums you don't know what you're getting into necessarily. But I love that, you utilize that, man. I think it's so important that that type of
yeah.
stuff is available. Um, so is there a particular era or albums that I know you said Sign of the Times is one of your favorites. Are there any other ones? And then I'll ask you a question about have you jumped into some of the protege groups, things of that nature?
So I'll say this. I put a blanket statement out there. I know almost every little detail about this man. So I have jumped on every protege group, all the bootlegs,
Oh,
the Prince I vote. I live there. If you remember I vote, I live there. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot. So yes, jumped to all the protege group. I remember when Andy Owl was like popping.
mm,
I was
mm.
all over that. Um, yeah, I got into everything, man. So and you said what's my favorite era or like any eras I
Yeah.
jump into? Yeah, I the Signs of the Time, of course. 1999 Purple Rain, I jump into here and there just because it was just that was peak Prince. You know, that was like blockbuster Prince. And then
Blockbuster
sometimes
Prince. I like
blockbuster Prince.
I like that.
And then Diamonds and Pearls, I jump to it. I would say this: if the estate, how y'all doing? Listen to me. All right, if y'all want a good conceptual album from the year of 89 to 92 and some of the vote stuff that he has in there, call me up. I got a nice playlist for y'all that check and put out. But anyways, that's another conversation there and there.
Putting it
But
on
yeah,
the table.
Diamonds
All right, putting it in
put
the
it
universe.
got to. Diamonds and Pearls, Love Symbol. I jump into there sometime. I like Emancipation. That was a very interesting period for that brother.
Yeah.
A lot of adulting, I would say. And
Mhm.
sometimes when life kind of goes tough, sometimes I think back to that era and what he was going through. I mean, to lock yourself out from the world and to just decompress through
Yeah.
music, and you heard that through On the Truth. I feel like The Truth was his therapy album.
Mm.
That was his Mr. Morale. I think that was his Mr. Morale album.
Hmm. Okay.
But that's another conversation another day. But yeah, that and also musicology, and then Artificial Age. That era that I was around, and which was pretty cool.
Okay. Have you been to Paisley Park? Done a tour or anything yet?
Unfortunately, no. It was funny. I lived in Wisconsin for a year. That was the closest I got to Paisley
Wow.
Park. But no, one of these days I will go. I'm praying to God that happen one of these days.
All right. Um, well, let's talk about this. How, from your experience, what is the fandom like to you? Like, what do you want to see, or is it? I guess the question is it easy to get into things? Kind of again. I hate to. I'm not trying to do an age thing or younger thing, but just from your perspective of coming in, like, does it seem inviting enough? Uh, as as a younger
Yeah,
fan.
yeah. I'll say it like this. As a younger fan, you get to see both sides of the Prince fandom. You get to see
Mm,
the younger side and understand their enthusiasm about learning about the man, diving into the music. Even new ones that haven't listened to it and they're diving into it. It's like, okay, what song, what album should I put you on first to kind of understand what the man is all about? But
mm,
yeah, he does have heavy history. So sometimes you want to be like hesitant to go deep into Prince with them because you got to start them off soft. Again, like you just heard from me, I had to take years to kind of
mm.
understand what Prince is all about. So for the younger fans, it takes time, but as long as enthusiasm is there, cool.
Okay.
The season fans, I'm gonna call y'all season. The season fans, right? Especially
Right.
the ones that have been around 30, 40 years, that have seen the
Mm.
man perform since 79.
Wow.
Uh, some of them can be redlining. They can create barriers
Mm,
for fans like myself or younger fans or even fans in their 30s. You know, we feel the barrier because yeah, we didn't experience Prince in 1991 or 1989 when all that was happening.
mhm.
Some of us may have younger, but can't like fully grasp what was actually going on.
I
But
got
through technology and through history, princevote.com and all these books, and shout out to Dwayne for just telling history
mm,
about the brother. Shout out to you. And I do remember when he was on the live chat with you. And I think I did ask a question on one time, and he said, "Yo, I want people to write books like I'm doing right now. I want people to step in, especially the what's that, the Love Experience and Come album. Like I want people to dive into that. If anybody wants to work with me, cool. Um,
I remember
you
that.
know, the I like those aspects of fans, but I can feel the barriers, and sometimes that can be hurtful. Sometimes it's energy draining, because you want to connect, you want to relate to everybody of all different ages, and I'm not saying all the seasoned Prince fans. There are some that have met, especially on Saturday. Fantastic, perfect people like
Yeah, yeah.
yourself, Miss D'Angela, and other people that were there. But also, still on Saturday, I still kind of felt some barriers there that I was like, "Hmm, I can't go there yet. They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. Like, you must be the youngest brother here.
Yeah.
Why the hell are you here? Not listening to freaking Pop Smoke or whatever, that was
That's
Dave's
what
term.
you felt, that kind of energy? That's how you
Well, not the whole Pop Smoke. I'm blowing that out of proportion, but just just the barriers like, why are you looking at me and I'm looking at you? You trying to come here?
mm,
Don't let me don't test me. Pretty much,
damn.
I felt that energy, with certain circles.
Wow. Let me say this. As a seasoned fan, I will say this. There are, I hate to use the word clicks per se, but I think and this is my opinion, I think sometimes what you see is there are people that have been around for a long time. There are groups of people who have, from years ago, have been going to these events, and Paisley back in the day, which I was not a part of that. Um, and they know each other from, there's a connection there. Like, man, I remember you from 7 years ago. We always, every year we would always see, or every couple years. And I think what has happened is there's really some tight bonds with people that every time we went to Minneapolis, or every time we would go to here, we would always hang out, and you kind of clicked up, and I know I feel comfortable with you. And I think I feel like what you're seeing sometimes is you see those people that are just so close and connected, and coming into it not knowing these people, it could probably seem a little intimidating because it's like,
Yeah,
well, I
me
don't
too.
know. There's a group of people standing over there, and I don't really know any of them. And if I go over to introduce myself, the whole group is standing there. You know what I mean? But I would say, from my experience, though, most Prince fans, like the people that would come to these events, are some of the most loving people.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
crack the shield of what's behind that. And I think that's something that Prince, this community, has done. Like, so many people I would have probably never have met otherwise, but because of this, and I say that from the standpoint of, I'm doing this podcast, so a lot of people kind of, oh yeah, hey, I kind of know who you are. So I can imagine if I didn't have that, it would, yeah, I could see it being kind of intimidating.
yeah. And again, total respect to all the Prince fans throughout the years. I have met up and bonded over meet up in live performances, seen this man perform 5, 6, 7 times. Like, listen, I'm not taking that experience away from y'all. I want y'all to experience it with your
Right.
group. You know what I'm saying? But acknowledge us.
I got
If
you.
y- when y'all sing acknowledge me, hey, look over here as well. Acknowledge us as well as the younger fans. We want to sit and listen. We're not trying to say, hey, let's butt into their group and let's join forces. And I was like, yo, bring us in our circle. Let me hear your stories so I,
Mhm,
I could add on to what I know about Prince.
mhm.
So, God forbid, when you're long gone, I have these stories in my head so I could pass down to stories and generation to
Yeah,
generation. And that's what Prince is all about, right?
man.
We passing down legacy, passing down the music, and I think that is where we at right now, right? Listen, it's been what? It's 2013. It's gonna be 7 years.
Mhm,
Seven celebration, right? 7 years since the brother died. I tell you this, it's been 10 plus years since Michael died.
mhm.
The amount of damn Michael Jackson fans that are younger than me are going after that man. And I'm not saying we're not doing a bad job, but I'm seeing apples to oranges. They're out there.
Oh
They
yeah.
are pushing it, right? They're not, and the state can give two damns about them, and that was to scream at the estate, right?
Right.
Here, the estate, we kind of have direct connect with the estate. Now I don't know what's going on with this, what's going on with the who owns what and whatever, but I feel like they are listening to us, right? The younger fans, Their voices are there. I see them. I see them on Twitter. I see them on IG. I see them around. And I know a few of them. And I'm in that group as well. That wants to say something, but it feels like when the season fans do something, and we're
Mhm.
like, maybe one of us reach out to them like, hey, we want to join something. Like, again, the Prince Twitter thread. That's a good example, right? Was it
Okay.
Edgar? Edgar, right?
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Edgar invited my man Tariq to write something for, I think it was the Gold Experience, for the Twitter thread. That's a great example of bringing us to the forefront. We're like, yo, we can continue this. We have knowledge. We have the stories. Acknowledge us. We not saying we want to be in your pool party. We just saying, yo, let us just hang around. We won't bother
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
We just here to gather information, make friends, and we all grow with each other. That's what I'm trying to stay here for the younger fans.
I got it. I got it. I would just add to I would say, you know what? Bogart it, man. Like, and what I mean by that is, don't wait for the invitation. Y'all the future. Like y'all, you were born in this world where you got access to everything. Seasoned cats, we have to learn how to use this stuff. Y'all born into the world. It's second nature. Take it, man. Do y'all thing. That's why I was like,
Yeah,
you know what? Let's just get on the mic. We ain't a lot of talking. Let's get it pop. So I say to you everything you just said, but I say, man, listen, y'all should just do your
just take
podcast,
it.
do your video, whatever Twitter thing, just do it and don't even worry, let them come to you, but speak
Yeah,
to who you speak to, man, because like you said, when we gone, it's gonna be on y'all to keep this. Y'all gonna be the ones that have to tell the story. Yo, I
to the
remember
youth.
when such and such. He said he went to the show back in '82, and they said it was popping like this. Woo, 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 woo. Y'all gonna be the ones telling them stories because you know what I mean. And then y'all
Right.
gonna be able to tell it for the younger people under you that's gonna discover Prince. However they discover, you gonna be able to say, "Well, man, I remember when I first heard. I went and saw Purple Rain. I watched that at home, and I got into this album, and then I jumped to Rainbow Children.
Yeah.
That's a whole different way of consuming it. You're not consuming it in order type or in the moment. You're consuming it. Man, the catalog is all right here at our
Yeah.
fingertips. Where you want to jump in? Oh, you want to jump in right there? Man, let me tell you about this is what happened when he made that album. I mean, y'all gonna be the ones doing it. Uh,
Yeah.
so shit, you ain't gotta wait for knuckleheads like me to.
No, 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 totally correct. And shout out to the ones that are doing it, now as
Yeah,
well, because it's important to pass down just the stories of Prince and the music and what everybody experienced. And I even say this, and now we're coming back to the business side of it.
what's up?
If we talking about 1984, we talking about 1994, we talking about 2004, and if we talk about 2014, since next year is around that time. I mean, listen, you got Purple Rain dropping. Hopefully, they do a super deluxe. I pray to God they do. They'll be dumb if you say they don't drop a Purple Rain super
Oh,
deluxe edition. That is where you capture the next generation. You always, here's the
mm,
thing. Yes, we all claim about Purple Rain, but that is where you get people.
mm,
It's When's Doves Cry. It's Let's Go Crazy. It's I Would Die For You. These kids love I Would Die For You. Don't get that twisted. Yes, it's a 2.5 minute poppy song. Whatever. We get into
I
Baby I'm a
love
Star. I love it too. But that's a key song to get the next generation
so
in.
you
And
you
then
brought up
the
Let's
grand
Go Crazy. That's because it was in Sing 2, I think, the movie they
yes,
do,
it was insane too. Yes,
and
it
my daughter
was.
heard that, Gracie, every time we get in the car now, "Can you play Let's Go Crazy?" And she's not asking for the Sing version, she's listening to the Prince version,
Prince
and she
version.
can't stop listening to it, so you absolutely
Right. And then ain't no so great about Prince that you can go deeper with that song as well. 'Cause it is a religious song. The whole Purple
mm,
Rain album is a religious song, is a religious album to me. Again, that's another story for another
yes,
subject.
sir.
But yes, if the estate can focus on Purple Rain, if they can focus on, well, they did release Gold Experience last year, but mention of Gold Experience, right? And the Calm and the whole symbol era. They had musicology. Musicology hasn't been praised yet. And we all know how amazing musicology was. And that's 20 years later. Gotta do something about that. And then also 10 years after Artificial Age, which you can say is Prince's
Mm.
finite album, because we ain't talking about phase one. I don't count that. Artificial Age,
Lord.
right?
No dough.
Listen, right? We talk about artificial age. That's to point out because that also brought me into it, right? That was my era. I was part
Mhm,
of the spree cast era where I met
mhm,
amazing people
mhm.
on that, and I still have strong friend. You talking about connections, how people met Prince and all that. My friend group that I met that we're strong for 10 years plus. We met through the internet. We met through Speedcast. We met through Dr. Fucking Berry and
Shout out
Seth
to
Egray.
Funk
And
Step, yeah.
we didn't know until later on that Prince was watching them stuff. So he could have saw my ass.
Mhm,
All that matter.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But it was like we were that close to interacting with Prince and all those live streaming he did with Paisley Park. Like I still remember the DJ party he did before leaving the Montreux in 2013. Yes, I'm real. Anyway, I know my stuff. I was there. But yeah,
Right.
like stuff like that, we can bring stories into that as well. If the state can just focus on it's the force. If they can focus on that and bring it out in a way that is packaged well, you will have a new generation in your hands to study about Prince.
You know, and we'll talk about the estate here. My thing on the estate at this point is I take the same advice I was given earlier. I'm not waiting on the estate. I don't care what they do. I salute them and I'm gonna support as best I can, but that ain't got nothing to do with me listening to the music. It ain't got
Amen.
nothing to do with me wanting to play it. It ain't got nothing to do with me talking about it.
Amen.
We the estate. You understand what I'm saying? The fans are the state of Prince. We be the ones that decide what's popping and what's not. That's how
Amen.
that's how I look at it. So
No, I
you
respect
see
it.
like D'Angela when she doing her thing, beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Great community of people, great scholars came through, industry people came through, spoke on Prince. You can see the lineage, the appreciation of the study of Prince. Jill Jones came out. Jill Jones performed, mingling with the fans. Uh, Stuff like what we doing, stuff like you said, Funk and Berry, Peach and Black.
Oh, shout out to Beach and Black. Shout out to them,
Shout out to
man.
Peach and Violet.
Miss y'all. Come back out.
Yeah, they need to. They need to stop playing.
You stop playing.
Violet Reality, Princess Friend. Wow, I'm
Purple
forgetting.
Nights. Purple
Purple
Nights.
Nights, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. My guy with the Once Upon a Time of Minneapolis.
Oh, yo,
Here,
who haven't yo? Can
I know this brother.
I
He,
put money. I put money to this. Yo, if you watch this, man, I love you. Thank you for doing the history, especially the
listen,
whole symbol contract thing y'all doing right now. Y'all breaking it down for the people. We
he's
talk
solid.
about the new generation. I'm throwing the video to them. All
Yes,
right, you're doing God's work. But continue.
yes, he is. Oh, he deserves all the flowers. Yeah, man. He's single-handedly putting in, compiling everything, giving it that narrative with the
And I was
video and the
like,
editing.
I'm like, how you finding all this stuff? It's great.
It
It's
is, man.
amazing.
It is. So that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that. Everybody who be on IG, Twitter, um, the Twitter threads, the pictures, people that be in the picture, Darlene Nisi.
Yeah, shout
There's
out
a
to
lot of
her.
people. Troy. Is this gonna come? That's the estate to me.
Yeah,
So
amen.
yeah, you got the. There's always going to be the business side. There has to be, but the fans, we're the ones who get it pop, and we
Amen.
don't have to wait for nothing. Google is free. We can get on these mics and talk whatever we want to talk about. So I say go hard. We're gonna keep this thing alive. It don't matter. So whatever they put out, great, or whatever they don't put out, great.
True.
I'm gonna still hit play
Yeah.
and had it.
Until I'm rocking. Right.
You know what I'm
What
saying?
you bumping to? Jukebox with a heartbeat? That's my
Hey,
song.
there you go.
And I'll say this too. I'll throw myself under the bus as well. I can do a bit more. You know what I'm saying? I want to do more with the Prince, not with the Prince Day, but with just Prince. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? And I feel like some of us have this tension because yeah, you have shows like Swarm out, all this, oh, if you're Grace
Right.
fan, you don't like this person, oh, X out of your life. Like, and I'll be honest, I'll be honest with everybody here. I'm in the middle of that. Like, I can go full fandom of Prince, but I still want to keep my individuality, and it's the combination of those two that I'm trying to work and figure. I feel like all of us are trying to figure that out as well. How can I take my love to Prince, but not go let's go crazy with it, because there's other things to worry about in life. But at the same time, how can I preserve his music, preserve his teachings, preserve his legacy
Hmm.
to the next generation? And if that's me starting a podcast, I remember I did do a video. I did do a YouTube channel one time back in 2013 because
Uh,
shout out to brother Jesse Jenkins. He started his video stuff, so I
yeah,
kind of got inspired in doing that.
I see.
Three
That's what I'm
vid-
talking about.
3 videos in, I deleted the account because people were like, "Oh, he stutters a lot, and I don't like the way he talks." And da da
Uh,
da da. So I got discouraged from that.
Gotcha.
But now I'm ready to step back and it's like, what can I talk about? What can I do? But it just started, So I'm throwing myself under the bus, everybody. I could do better. I could do more, but I will. And I hopefully that you're watching this, you will want to jump into the
Yes.
to the Prince world and talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, man. And the comments, that's going to happen no matter what you're doing. If you when you put yourself out there, no matter what you're talking about, there's going to be somebody who's ain't got enough time, and they got this is the thing, they got enough time in their life to watch what you doing,
Yeah.
and then to sit there and contemplate and think the type of response to you. Like
I'm
that
like, oh,
bothers
this
my
sweat.
mind. So you're always going to have that, but yeah, man, I love that you said Jesse sort of inspired you to let me get on the mic. I see my man doing, and he's a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Young dude. I mean, Prince literally took him under his wing. Like, come on and get down. Here, take my records. You sell 'em. You know what I'm saying? Like that was some powerful stuff. So I'm glad that
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and we need to be able to. That's what I'm saying. We need to be able to see other people doing their thing, and I'd be like, oh, you know what? I got something I want to contribute because we're all unique, man. You could be saying the same shit the other person said, but it's just the way that you do it. They can't do it like you. And
Amen.
somebody gonna
Amen.
see you and be like, yo, I like that cat, or I like girl, yeah, I love her and how her enthusiasm. Uh, and it's just infectious, and that's
Yeah.
where it's supposed to be. Let's switch gears
Yes, go.
and talking about the estate and everything. They announced
Oh
celebration,
boy, celebration.
baby.
Shout out
And
to them continuing though.
yes, yes, celebration 2023, June 8th through the 11th. Uh, that's right. They had a competition for the
For the
art.
artwork. Mm-hmm.
I should have had the name in front of me, but the
Yeah, I
person,
think he's around Twitter. I think I saw his name
oh,
floating around Twitter.
is it 500 Prince songs or 500 or Prince 500 songs? They do that website or something. So salute to that.
Okay.
Sorry, I do not have your name in front of me. Hopefully, we'll find it. But beautiful artwork,
Oh,
absolutely.
agreed. Agreed.
Yeah, And let me say this: I love that Paisley Park did that. Like, had a competition or gave the fans an opportunity to be a part of this. That's dope.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
that's what they need to continue to do more. Let us be more involved in some of the stuff that y'all doing. Because again, as you just said, the estate is us. We are the legacy. We need to
right?
continue, and it starts with us. We are the legwork.
Yeah, man. And let me reload this. There we go. And let me just read a little bit about this one. Get on my D'Angela here in a second.
Do the voice. Do the voice.
I can't do it. If any voice,
Yeah, she does it well. She does it well.
This uh,
Ha!
annual gathering of Prince fan.
let me stop. The annual gathering of Prince fam brings together people from all over the world to honor Prince's life, creative works, and outstanding legacy, and share stories about his creative and cultural impact. The number
Yes.
7 was incredibly important to Prince, who was born on June 7th, 1958, and would reference the number in significant ways throughout his immense body of work, including his song Seven. This year marks 7 years of uplifting Prince's legacy and carefully preserving his prolific artistic output and his creative sanctuary. At Celebration 2023, guests will take a deep dive into understanding the cultural significance of Seven and how it has been reflected throughout history. We believe that Prince was the heart of what would become one of the most creative and talented communities in the world. This year, we want to highlight how you, the fam, are continuing the legacy in numerous ways. There will be opportunities to share how your contribution to Prince's legacy has impacted others, time for creative expression, and a featured panel highlighting some incredible community members making a global impact. The 2023 celebration will once again include live music, celebrity panels, in studio recording sessions, and special opportunities to see and hear historical Prince performances.
Ooh, historical.
So listen, that sounds great. Like
Sounds
it seems
great.
like the emphasis is going to be on the fans, which is very interesting.
Hmm.
I dig that. Of course, it says you're still going to have the live music, celebrity panels, or the in studio recording sessions. And the thing that always gets my ears, you know, an opportunity to hear historical
Historical.
Prince performances. Now, the nitpick in me would say it says here and not. Oh no, it does say
Hey,
to
does you
see
see?
here. So
Yeah,
false information.
yeah.
So yeah, see. So I'm like, okay, they opening the vaults up. They gonna show some video.
Yeah.
They're gonna play some music, man. So
Last year they did the 91 Diamonds and Pearls run of show for Paisley
that's right,
Park, right?
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
And people said it was an amazing watch, even though was it brother B, Michael B said that he didn't like that performance, right?
Did he say that? I don't remember.
I think it was,
He
I
might have.
believe he said
He
that.
may have.
Yeah,
Okay.
which I understand because it's a dress rehearsal. It's not popping
Got
like that.
got it. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, that sounds pretty exciting. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds good. I'm not mad at that. Now, when you go to the tickets,
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
here's the thing. Now, before I click on the ticket prices here, so event details. So here's some of the things they're telling you to expect. Featured panels. There's one called Seven. There's one for Diamonds and Pearls. And of course, the theme of this is seven, and then diamonds and pearls. I want to believe that they are going to officially announce, if they don't before this event, the upcoming release of the diamonds and pearls
I agree.
stuff, which it is coming.
It is coming. We saw the pictures. They wasn't lying.
Yeah, it is. Even the special deluxe thing is coming.
It's coming.
So they're going to talk about that. Interesting one, Prince and hip hop.
That one, I laughed a little bit on that one.
I'm very curious
Very curious about that one.
what that's
Me,
going to be.
yeah, yes,
There's that. Prince Fam Legacy. I'm actually
that's interesting.
curious about that too, right?
Yeah,
Then some of the highlights, it says there would be Prince fan testimonials.
interesting.
Like church. Anybody want
We all gather here today to just get this world called Prince.
to? Can somebody get Sister Abernathy to sit down because she just going on long winded? Well, that will be interesting.
Yeah, it will be very interesting.
Rosie Gaines,
No,
Prince
that's
Legacy Tribute.
now that doesn't scream diamonds and pearls.
And I can only assume that would be the live performance, and maybe they're going to get as many band members from that period and others
Yeah,
to perform some sort of tribute. I could already tell they would probably want to have like a Shelby or one of these guys to sing uh, the songs with the emphasis with Rosie stuff. But
yeah.
that would be cool. Now I don't know if they're going to get her to be there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, isn't Rosie still with us? Last time I checked, I know she wasn't feeling well before.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak. I don't know necessarily, but
Yeah,
I'm just pray that
she's
if
good.
she is there in good spirits and it's a good
Amen.
thing for her to do and full of love, you know what I'm saying? Like, uh, yeah,
I'm
because
gonna
that's
I'm gonna need to do closer than close though. That's my song right there.
nice. And then some VIP opportunities. It says exclusive studio experiences, which I think every time they've done something for the VIPs
Yeah,
in the studio has always been pretty great. So,
I believe always in Studio A. I believe.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So how much is this? Well,
My
VIP got
lord.
it. You know how much it is? It don't matter because it's already sold out.
Wait,
But
I can't see it on the screen, brother.
oh, my bad,
It's
my
all
bad.
good.
All right, sorry about that.
It's all good. You hoodie in the
All right,
hood.
so tickets, if you can see.
Oh my goodness, the diamond one is sold out.
Yeah, so diamond
Wow.
$141.25. Well, I
That's
just round
that's
that up.
that's $14 more. That's my rent.
But it's sold out. So you know what? Salute to the estate for that. I
Amen. Yeah, they
I
did
don't
it.
knock the hustle. I'm not pocket watching. There's a market for it.
Hmm.
Go on and get that. Get them purple dollars. So it is what it is.
And I'm assuming that there's a limited amount of tickets for VIP as well, so it's
Probably.
easier to sell out.
Yeah. You know. So yeah. The general admissions, $572. Um,
Okay.
listen, is this expensive? You better believe it. Um, if it's not, I don't. I'm not the one to be like complaining. I just keep it simple. I can't afford it.
Yeah.
It is
You
what it
know.
is. I ain't mad if
Hmm.
somebody else can. It's just for my situation.
Yeah.
I can't do it like that.
Same here.
You
You
know,
know, as a young brother, 28, and still trying to pay these bills, I live by myself. You know what I'm saying? It's hard out here for a pen when you try to get the money for the rent,
right?
But but as you were saying, and you said it yesterday too on the live stream, it's like you can't knock the hustle, and you can't knock what people have the pockets for it. They got the pockets for it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
there are some people that this is a no brainer, and you know, there's a lot of Prince fans when they something go for sale. I got that. I gotta have it. I dig it. I dig it,
Yeah.
man. But now on the other hand,
Where I'm at.
on the other hand, there could probably be some more accommodation, consideration for people that don't have this type of ready type of finance. Also, I think this is just the walking into Paisley Park, take your price. You still got to have airfare to get there, hotel, maybe a car rental, or you're paying Uber or something. So, and then you got to eat. You want to eat?
Pack of money.
Yeah.
Pack of
So
money.
this is a whole thing, and
Yeah.
and imagine for Prince is not an American star. He's a worldwide superstar.
Say
So
that again.
yeah,
This is important.
yeah. So there's people all over the world who want to come to these
Yes.
events, and
Yeah.
so it's a lot. It's a lot to do to get there. It's expensive, and we're talking about hardcore fans. We're not talking about the general population. They're not buying this. The general population, like $500, Prince gonna be there?
Right, exactly. He's gonna come alive in
Huh?
fuck. I can feel that. Right.
Are they gonna reenact Lake Minnetonka or something? Because
Right. I don't think you want to see
no,
him right now.
some of it. Anyway,
I don't-
let me stop.
Anyways.
This is a business.
But look, I'm just saying for people that are coming from far away. Yeah, man, this is an investment, and my point was to say we're talking about hardcore fans. We're talking about people who would drop everything to do something. I just sort of kind of feel like you got to be a little considerate of that to understand. Yeah, this is just the tickets for sale. This is the whole thing for sale. The whole so that's something that I think kind of needs to. They could do a better job with that, and even probably a little more details on like who is going to be there. Again, let's keep it real.
Yeah, let's
It's
be
tough out
funky.
here, man. It,
Yeah.
it, it can be tough, and just to be able to show, like, you know what, we appreciate the fans. This event is targeted to the fans, right? They're going to spotlight the fans. So I think if you're going to just keep it full circle, you also got to be like, well, you know what? People have lives. We appreciate these people that want to travel across the world, across the country to come and be here and celebrate this, man. Let's try to make it a little easy for them so that more people can come in. Because I think the thing is, like I said, there are a lot of fans that just aren't going to be able to afford something like this. Not that they don't want to, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
And if you got to be thinking about rent versus this, And,
I'm taking the rent all day.
I guess the same argument people was having about those Beyonce tickets earlier this year,
I
right?
was just going to mention that, yeah.
But go ahead. I'm talking a lot.
So I'll say this, right? It's been 7 years that have been doing celebration.
Mhm.
You would expect by last year, when celebration is done, you should be already planning next year's celebration.
Mhm.
So for me, it feels like the Princess Day, especially I think last year, that's when they went through their change with ownership and all that, right?
Yeah.
I felt like they planned celebration probably last month or 2 months ago because ain't no way that you've been doing this for 7 years. You don't have a panel. You don't have featured guests or featured speakers, right? When celebration was announced back then, even last year when all that dropped, you had information. So when you saw that VIP ticket was like what? Now again, last year it was like what, $7.99 for VIP. Even then, it was like
I think it was
doable.
1,000 last year. I think.
Thousand.
I
Yeah,
could be
yeah,
wrong.
close to 1,000.
Mm.
But it was around that range, right? It's like I could do that because I know what I'm going to expect. Like when you heard that whole Diamonds and Pearl experience you're going to drop watching there last year, it was like, oh, cool. Now this year it feels like they planned it too rushly. They
Mhm.
didn't have time to gather everything. The price itself, I feel like it's gouged up because yeah, they gotta make sure you gotta maintain Paisley Park. I wish I understand them West. That's where the money's going towards. I feel like some people, and now I'm just speculating. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying nothing's real now, but some people got their hands in that money for
Yeah.
themselves for a little pocket money. But I'm just saying. But however, I'm saying this right. Fans like me, again, younger, I would say even like 40 or under. Some can afford, most can't afford because most of us are not at that financial
Right.
standpoint yet, right? Some of us are starting families, some of us are trying to buy the first. There's a lot of financial things going on, right?
Mhm.
If y'all just announced this, say January or December, trust and believe most of us will be there because we'll have the knowledge that okay, yo, I'm about to save up. You can announce it 2 or 3 months before, like, yo, celebration's coming at this month. If we knew celebration's coming at this month, like it's happening, trust and believe, we will all save that. We will follow on Darla Nisi's on Twitter thread how to save money for for Prince celebration. We will all be following it since then. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like announce it early, announce who's going to be there early, and then we will have the time to save up money, right? But again, can't knock the hustle. It is a business. You gotta do what you gotta do. I just wish that, like you said, they had a better time to plan this out. And think about the people in America, right? And again, like you said, and I told you to big this up earlier. He's a global superstar. International fans will come out.
Right.
Again, just me speculating. International money stretches longer than American dollars. You
Mm.
feel me? So even people are well equipped over there, and those are fans again that know Prince for 30, 40 years. I feel like the most international fans are that seasoned fans. Most of them are in that section. So they have the money to go out to come here and do what they gotta do. While here us in America, we not be struggling, but it's like but that rent though.
All
But
over,
that
brother.
rent though. You
There's a lot of
know?
younger fans overseas that I know would love to come.
Oh yes. Oh
It,
yeah, yeah. Shout out to all my people. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's an investment. Now, one could say, well, they're gonna probably do a celebration, so start doing your layaway. But I would agree with
With
you.
layaway,
They
yeah.
start putting some more information out. Or again, when you announce the tickets, you just tell people what you're in for. That's the whole. I mean, when you're dealing with this kind of dollar amount, you almost feel like that's the only way. Like, how would you expect somebody to be able to pay
Yeah.
premium on faith? This ain't church.
Right.
But like I said, obviously there is a market for it, and they know that. They know it's gonna sell. They know their fan base.
Yeah.
They know the people
Mhm.
that's buying every. They know when we put it for sale, it's gonna sell. Um, off the strength of Prince's name, it's gonna
Mhm.
sell. I just think at a certain point, there's only some. I mean, it's 7 years. I think at a certain point, okay, let's start meeting people halfway. We appreciate,
Right.
what I'm saying, show the but I know they have the best interest, and I'm sure they're gonna say, "Well, we're gonna have this person here, or this gonna have this," and yeah, it'll be.
And And I will say this too, when you talking with D'Angelo yesterday about this too, like you don't have to go to Celebration. You can always go to
Right,
Minneapolis during that time
right.
and just hang out. Like I heard plenty of people say, "Yo, I just went to Minneapolis to hang out. I didn't go to Celebration." They still
Mm,
had a ball. Like they still went to the Purple Rain House. They went to First Ave. They still did the Prince landmarks. And then
yeah,
at nighttime, it was straight partying.
yeah.
So for me, like when I heard that, I was like, yeah, that does make sense. To just go out there and just hang out. I mean, yeah, you can go on. I'm pretty sure you don't have to pay for parking at Paisley Park. You can just be there and just hang out. You can't just go inside.
Actually, no, you can't just. Yeah, there's no parking lot pimping that place. There's a
Oh
guard. You
well,
can't
then
even pull into there.
I just hang out by the gate. I'm like, I'll be out here. I'll
For
be
sure. Yeah,
talking
you
out
can
here.
stand, be out on the fence
Yeah,
there and stuff.
yeah.
But and again, yeah, you're right. You can go to Minneapolis and you can set up your own series of events. There are different
That'll
landmarks
be
and different
dope.
stuff to go see.
That'll be
So you
dope.
can make a time of it. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they offer. I'm
Oh yeah,
not sure
same.
if I'm gonna go yet or not, but I'm not mad at it. Absolutely.
Listen, I got a wedding to go to in September, so I have a bachelor party in August, and then plus me and my girl about to go see Drake in Montreal.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
just
Well,
like,
yeah, say less.
yeah, but I can't go. I see y'all next year though.
I already know.
You talking about Beyonce tickets? Them Drake tickets?
I
Boy.
heard about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Yep. Well, listen, man, Randy, this has been a good conversation. Anything that we
Yes, sir.
didn't jump into that we
Um,
get into?
the symposium. The symposium. Let's talk about the
Oh
symposium
God,
for a little bit.
yes.
Yeah.
My bad. So,
Sorry,
so,
D'Angelo. Sorry.
so, what were your thoughts? You went Saturday. What did you think about it?
Man, that was the first time I really was appreciated and seen as a Prince nerd. That's
Mm,
what I said to everybody. Like I was accepted as a Prince nerd in there. When everybody was when I'm thinking of a certain fact, everybody's thinking the same fact. I'm like, oh snap, I found my people. It was great to be there. It was great to see people that I've seen on my phone right here in person in real life, especially you. After hearing your voice in my ears, now I get to see face to face. It's like it's just a real moment. But at the same time, everybody's like, I remember one time I think it was during one of the panel, and I stopped listening just for a little bit, just to look around and see everybody's engaged, everybody's in
mm,
tune,
mm,
everybody's in the same accord
mm,
of what Prince did for the time, and he did for himself, and you kind of start to think like, yo, this brother was on some next level ish. He was always thinking ahead. He was always progressing forward. And
mm,
everybody was there for that. Everybody was in love for Prince. And especially rolling with Tariq. He knows his stuff more than I do as well. So it was always going back and forth with Prince fans and meeting people like Mr. Coco. I believe I said your name right. Meeting you, brother, that was great. Hanging out with him, brother C.
Sealy?
Yo, my man, we met at a chicken spot. Talking about us being black. We met at a chicken spot at Stickies outside, and I was like, "Yo, brother, I've been watching you for years during these presentations. You just taking the shit like from like second one to 30 minutes. You just going straight into it. And every time I'm like, I know I'm not sweating, but I feel like I'm sweating after I heard you speak, man. So, and I connected with him, and that was just a great moment. Me and D'Angela just real quick, be like, yo, D'Angela, I know you for years. I know we haven't
Mhm,
spoke like that. Like, I was in this celebration, I was in that celebration, but to see him face to
mhm.
face is just incredible. And then she hit me with that. So what you doing later tonight? I was like, well, not that way, but I was like, I'm trying to go back home to Connecticut, and I was like, no, put your name down. We about to go see this concert real
I
quick.
love that.
So when I went to so Chris Rob, that group, listen, you ain't talk about this, but my favorite part of that show was if a girl answers don't hang
Mhm.
up, that little skit that they did. I was like, oh my, I thought it was gonna be jamming, but I didn't know it was gonna be an actual show.
Yeah,
So where is that short haired girl that looked like Halle Berry? Shout out to you. You was putting on the
that's
show.
that's Tammy, man. That's the
Tammy, shout
homie.
out to you. You put on a wonderful show. Shout out to Chris Rock. Band was funking it up.
Yeah.
So even in the racing heads, like, oh, they got it right. They got it right. They got it right. All right, they know their stuff.
All right.
But yeah, a great time. I'm waiting for the next one. I hope when whatever the next thing is gonna be Purple Rain. Like don't play games in my heart. Let it be Purple Rain. We all this is a time where we be like that whole Purple Rain is like we calm down on that now because next year's that year. 2025 we all came up again.
I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, man. D'Angelo did an excellent job, man. Like just all those. There's so many brilliant, smart cats, man.
Oh,
I just
so
was like,
brilliant.
I'm like, man, they got me nervous. I can't even because this. I mean, you got Zaire's,
Killed
Celie,
it.
Elliot, Neil Dash, Miles. That was just the core, what they call the core four. But then there was so many other brilliant people, man, that gave panels and stuff. And I love it because, man, you really get a sense of like it ain't just you. It's
Yeah.
everybody that really has been taking this serious. And I love to hear other people's brilliant perspective on stuff that I would have never even thought about. Like, oh, I didn't even think about it like that. Like he's breaking it down like that. And
Yeah, yeah.
people was going deep into the Vanity Six. And I was like, oh, you know what? Never really okay. And seeing the time a different way. And then of course Prince and just all the
Man.
layers and stuff. But I'm like you, Chris Rob, man, listen, that
Funk.
that mo
Funk.
that whole band was on point. And like when they did, like when it just started and they came into a
Yeah,
purple
purple
music,
music.
I was like, oh,
Like, oh, it
okay.
makes sense.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay. At first I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah. This is, I'm listening like this is kind of popping. Like, because I didn't know what he was gonna do. I thought maybe he was gonna do his own music or something. I was like, oh, this is kind of filthy. Then they kind of went, all the critics love you.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay, I don't see what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
like, ooh.
That
But
was a
when
good
they got
transition.
to, I don't remember if it was I Don't Want to Leave You was next, but when they did that, I
And they did the
lost.
extended jam.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
the piano solo. When Chris Rob did the piano solo, I was like, oh,
yeah.
he's doing it right on the piano. When he did a and he did it, I was like, you know the record.
I was like,
People say you out of town. I don't even care. Never gonna hold it down. I don't even dare. Just wanna play your game. I was.
You
no,
know the
he ain't
record.
playing around. He knows this
He
music,
knows the
the
record.
details of it, and even the dude when they did the walk, and they
Oh
had
yeah.
that was up there. It was funny to me, but I was like, but they jamming. Like I can hear this song. I've heard this song thousands of times, but I was like, yo, this is some players. This is some fly shit. Like,
No, shout out
ah,
to the bass man keeping it tight when it was
yeah.
his time to do solo. It was it
And
was it
then
was, it
when they
was
went into the Vanity Six stuff, I
makeup was cool. Nasty Girl was dope.
yeah,
Nasty Girl was
when they
dope.
came out, I was like,
I was like,
huh? Hey, hey, hey. I was on my Scooby Doo.
I was like, I have a girlfriend, I have a girlfriend, I have a girlfriend, I have a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend, I have a girlfriend. And I'm right by the stage too. I'm like, I have a girlfriend, I have a girlfriend.
Hilarious. Nah, man, it was just like the commitment of everybody on there to
Yes,
do that. Even
yes.
the brother who was doing Prince's voice, like behind the cloak thing.
That's why it was my favorite part because it was a whole show and I
Yeah.
loved it. And he did it like, yes, he's taking a shower. I was like, that boy
Yeah.
good. That boy
Yeah.
good.
Brenda, how we gonna get to the party? And what if a girl ain't ain't got nothing to do says I was this girl? Brenda, I know better than anybody. Yes. Hello. This is Vanity. Is Jimmy home?
Yes, but he's taking a shower.
Oh, I see. Did he just take out the trash?
No, that's something he used to do. Now he's taking out me.
Oh, my people talking. Left his pants over here last night.
That's okay. You won't need him. You won't be needing him tonight.
Oh, what's the matter? Is he going swimming?
He tried to go, but he said he did that last night.
Sugar, I know about a great car. Why don't you bring us your car?
Sorry, baby, but I never go to singles bars.
Single? Is that what you think, Tramp? I think your dad.
Oh, he died about 7 years back. Now ain't that just too bad?
That's how we like him. Tall, stiff, and ready. That's positively more than I can say for that Jimmy.
That's because he was swallowing vitamin E. Now he's swallowing me.
Oh, you mean you were swallowing him? Why don't you just hang back to your back?
I would never have a heart attack.
All it's gonna go is a big off head. Now what you think about that?
I think I'll wear a wig, then run a motel for hoping rats and rice, dogs and cats in my head.
Yeah, they killed that, man. That was good. Go ahead.
Funny story for the audience. So after it was some jam. I think it was the walk. After the walk was done, it was around like almost 10 o'clock. I live in Connecticut, right, and it's down in Brooklyn. So I was like, I don't want to go home too late, so I need to get home in a certain amount of time. It could take about an hour and a half to get home. So I told her I'm diving. I was like, yo, I'm out. I'm out. Peace out. Whatever. So I'm leaving. Right. 2 or 3 minutes. I'm walking down the street. I get touch with my boy Tariq. Yo, dog, you left at the wrong time. I'm like, why? They doing lady cab driver, Joe Jones on stage. I was like, damn it, Randy.
Woo, that was a moment.
I believe it.
Moment.
Tell me about that. Now you have to give me the.
Yeah, hopefully I can insert some footage, and I took some video. But yeah, they were doing lady cab driver. Jill Jones was in the
Yeah, she was like
audience.
behind. She was like 2 rows behind me.
Back, yep. And
Yeah.
hella cool. She was so humble, approachable. Salute to Jill. And
I was scared.
Really?
I was scared.
Oh man,
Everybody was around her. I was like,
you
damn.
just gotta get in there, man. Just go and get in there. She had a little line of people, but
She did. And that's how I got nervous. I was like, I don't want to. I don't be that guy.
But yeah, they started doing lady cab driver, and it's getting to that point. And he was, I think Chris was like, if we can do this, and she was like, yeah, I'm down. So she came up, got up on stage, and they did the whole. This is for the, and she's. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like watching. I'm watching Jill Jones do Lady Cab Driver, and it's like right in front of your face. And the band was on point. She was on point. It was beautiful. It was a moment. I was like, that's why I said, we're the estate. Like, we don't have to wait for these people are alive. They're willing. They're nice. You approach them. You do a good business. We can have our own thing. And that was the fans that, D'Angela fans did that. And she was a part of that. And she was gracious to stay the whole weekend. So yeah, it was amazing, man. Like I said, that was one of my favorite. The concert, which I didn't, I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna have a little private show, and that was a private sort of thing.
It was private, yeah.
Invite everybody in, and I'm glad you got in there.
Yeah. And I thank God she invited me in there with Tarika
Yeah.
as well. I was like, oh, I guess we down. We part of the puppet posse now. Oh, damn.
Well, and see, now that speaks to when we go back where you were saying you kind of felt like, there's these barriers, but then there's still the olive branch was like, hey, you know what you doing this evening? Come through, pull up. We got a little something going on, a little something popping, a few little people's gonna be sexy, da, da, da,
Yeah.
da, da. Get up in there, and that was fly, man. And let me say this. Uh, there's just beautiful people in the Prince community.
Amen.
Man, all the ladies was nice, beautiful. There was good brothers there, all right races,
People saying
all
hello,
yeah.
hi.
That's what I remember from Prince concerts, like the later years. And this was the perfect example. Like white, black, Puerto Rican, everybody just
Everybody just a freaking.
man. We was uptown in Brooklyn that night, and
Yes, we.
yeah,
Amen.
yeah,
We were. We were.
that shit was phenomenal. So I say this: if you can attend one of these events, you got to do it, and you got to, and D'Angelo, it's got to be in person.
Gotta be in person. Yes.
And if you can do the whole weekend and pull it off, I'm telling you, I met so many great people this whole weekend. I'll tell you a quick story. I've been
Yeah.
mentioning that.
Yeah.
So I think it was the first night, or it could have been the second night. I can't remember. But so me and Troy went out there. Troy's from Seattle.
Shout out to Troy.
Uh, we stayed together, but he got there earlier in the day, and I got there
Mm.
9:30 or 10 o'clock or something that night. And salute to Vanessa. Vanessa, man, so dope. This sister is dope, man. She like gave her brother a ride from the airport to the hotel in Brooklyn. She was already clicked in with Troy and them. They was already friends and Tanja. And so it was like I just came into a family of people that I kind of knew already, but I was like, okay, I got some people that I can be with this week. So I'm not out here by myself. Like, and I've never been to New York before. And I can get some anxiety about that when I'm not,
Mm.
solo like that. So I was comfortable. I was like, okay, well, I got family with me. And maybe it was a second, I mean, whatever it was getting late. And remarkably or not to me, there was a lot of things that weren't open really, it seemed like. And we wanted
In
to
New York City?
I know that's what I was
What?
but we didn't want to go too far out either.
Oh yeah, I understand.
So
Yeah, don't do
we were
do
kind of in
yeah.
that little area of downtown Brooklyn.
Okay. Okay.
So we was like, okay, well, let's just go get some drinks, a little wine shop. We'll just go back up to the hotel. We all, we'll just kick back and have some little drinks, conversate, you know what I'm saying? Kick it, get to know each other.
Yeah.
And there was a brother named Chris. He was also a presenter. He had the all purple on.
Yeah. That's my I remember him. Yeah. He
Cool
cool. He
cat,
cool. He
cool
cool.
cat.
He
And
cool. He cool guy.
I'm
Funny.
underplaying Chris because Chris was clicked in with a lot. Let me just say,
Okay.
Chris, we dropped Chris off. It must have been Sunday at the airport,
Mm.
or maybe it was the night. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm about to get on the plane. I got to go holler at Chloe, or I'm about to go see Chloe or something." I wasn't understanding what he was saying. Why I look on his Facebook the next day, he's sitting there booed up. I was booed up. He was like kicking it with Chloe Bailey is. Uh, I was like, okay, I see.
Get out of here!
Yeah, he doing
The
it big.
Chloe?
He's doing it big. And I say his name for a reason. So Chris was with us. Uh, I can't think.
Saturday. He was there Saturday.
So it was the day before that. It was Friday night.
Okay.
Yeah. So Chris, Vanessa, Tanja, Troy, and my name is flipping on. There was two other young ladies there. We up there having our little drinks, talking, having a good time. Now me, I'm up here. I bought like some flavored vodka, had wine and stuff. But I'm sitting here sipping, and I'm mixing.
Uh-oh.
I'm doing the dummy move. Right?
You said vodka and wine.
Yeah, I'm acting way
Oh
like I'm like
God.
lost my mind or something. I'm like,
Wow.
you know, and conversation was hilarious. And at a certain point, it started kicking into me.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn, like I'm like, I don't know. Like this I'm like, and the conversation was crazy. I'm not gonna get in, but it was getting heated, kind of heated
Yeah.
in a good way.
Mm.
And I just was like, and Troy had already left. He went back, and we were staying in these hotels. Our hotel was right next door, so we were right next door in a different hotel next door. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. And I just kind of just said, just laid down because I was just like, put my head down for a second, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm tripping. And
Dang.
so I go to the bathroom. A couple people had left, and I just remember I looked at my man Chris, and I was like, yo, man, I don't think I'm gonna be able to walk back by myself. You mind? He's like, brother, I got you.
Oh, that's what's up. That's a brother
And
right there.
so I said, thank you to Chris, man, because like I said, I just met this cat. It's been chopping it up and solid. Like, yo, I got you. Walked downstairs, went to the next whoop whoop, got back to the room and went to bed. Got up the next morning. I was like, we had a panel. We were gonna do the show at Angela live that day. And I was like, man, I was kind of like, okay, I guess I'm feeling okay. But I'm a little and we go out for breakfast. And when we get to the breakfast, I was kind of like, whew,
You waking up.
I'm kind of hung over. I feel like I'm like,
Oof.
ooh, yeah. I'm like, I gotta shake it off. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
cool. I'm trying to keep it player. Like, oh yeah, I'm good. Sipping a little water. I'm not really too hungry. But in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm kind of starting to sweat. And so I was like, you know what? I'll be right back.
Eh,
Go to the bathroom. I'm gonna save the details. But when I came back, I was good.
there you go. That's
I
all
was
you need.
good. And I
That's
was
all you need.
and I was
Yep.
perfect
Yep.
the rest of
Yep.
the time. But I say all that to say we had a ball. Like I said, we met so many dope people that we were able to click with and have some good conversation, kick it, sit next to, or talk in the break. Beautiful, man. Like how I met you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was dope, man. And like I said, it was all different races, ages, people from different parts of the country, some from around the world.
I feel
Um,
like NYU students came at one point.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
man. It was dope, and yeah. So I say you gotta go just for the camaraderie, man. Like, and that's part of even celebration. The big thing to me about celebration is the camaraderie. Yeah, I want to sit
Yeah.
down and see some vote footage, but also get
You
amongst our
know.
peers
Yeah.
and just chop up. Oh, okay, I seen your picture on Facebook. Good to meet you. Whoop, whoop. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Angela did
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Meeting people, meeting your folks to
Yeah,
make you kind of just keep pushing for another day. We all need. Again, we're human beings. You don't have to go too deep. I mean, I ain't trying to get too deep into it, but
go
as
deep.
human beings, we're human beings, right? And we all need some type of connectiveness
Yeah.
somehow, some way, right? And that's how we move together as a community. We all are in one accord. We're moving towards something bigger, something great, right? For
Yes.
us, I believe we need to keep moving forward to have Prince as one of those landmarks or just pioneer of music, modern music, especially what's going on right now. Like take that was a Darius Bernard, that dude from so this is a guy called Darius Bernard, and his Tiny Dex concert is kind
Mhm.
of like making the rounds right now and
Oh,
everywhere.
okay.
And
I've seen.
he dressed like Bobby Brown. He dressed like not Bobby Proud from Proud Family.
Yeah. I seen that, brother.
But
Yeah,
when you see that, it's like yo,
he's
you
dope.
scream a you dope, but you scream a Prince,
Yeah.
and it connects back to him. So we need to try like yo, we need to have people look at him like yo, he is a creator of that. Yeah, you had James Brown, you had Little Richard,
Hmm.
you had them folks, but Prince is also can be a pioneer with them. Yeah, you might take the hairstyle, shut up, but
No, Prince
but
absolutely is a pioneer with them. Yeah, man.
all that, you know what I'm saying? But we need to strive towards that, and we need to acknowledge that, and that should be where the end goal should be. Like how Michael's up there, Prince should be up there with Michael as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I like how you brought up what's that dude's name again? with the brother
Darius Bernard. I think
Darius Bernard. Yeah,
I
and like
believe that's his name.
you can see the lineage connection of all those people you just mentioned. You know, I'm not saying he's the next prince or nothing like that, but I'm
Oh
just saying
no,
like in the vein of he
okay.
carrying the torch.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, listen, Randy, man, ooh, this was a good one.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
we can jump into an MJ conversation, but
I mean, listen for another hour. Bring who was talking smack about Michael the other day on the podcast?
oh, who was it? I don't
Was it
remember.
quick? He was with y'all. It was you, Big Sexy, Antoine, I believe that's his
Q?
name, and
Oh,
Q.
and
Yeah, Q. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Bring Q. I'll be in that conversation. Like, stop playing
Hilarious.
around.
But the thing
I
is,
was,
Q was
yeah,
the biggest Michael Jackson fan, but you know, he just kind of got caught up in. First of all, Q gonna be Q, so he's not contrarian regardless whether he's into something or not.
yeah,
But nah, man, I don't remember what we were talking about. But listen, I'm not of the camp of Michael or Prince.
yeah.
To me, it's the same thing. It's a
Yes,
black man who has risen to the top and brought joy to the world. That's all I compare it to. They doing their thing. Uh, there's no either or. I used to be back in the day, you know, of course.
of
But
course, yeah.
now, yeah, they're both brilliant masters at what they do. I don't compare the two. Michael Jackson is the fucking superstar. Like,
You can't. You know what's funny, and it relates to this, right? I was listening to a Questlove podcast yesterday, and he was talking with TLC Dallas Austin,
oh,
right? And Dallas Austin was talking about a story where it was around a history production,
mhm.
right? Because he was with this time around, and
Okay.
forgot the other tracks he did with him. Too bad, I believe, right? And he was talking like how it was him. Somebody else was in the studio with him and Michael. I think it was him, Big, I believe, and
Go ahead.
Michael. Nope, flip it. Sorry, him, Jimmy Jam, and Michael.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
Because yeah, so when because Dallas Austin was like, oh, because Michael introduced Dallas Austin to Jimmy Jam. So and Dallas Austin, because when he played keyboard, he's a Prince fanatic as well.
Yeah.
Henceforth, if I was your girlfriend on
Mhm.
Crazy Sexy Cool, right? But he said he played keyboards straight from the Time album, from Get It Up, and Cool, and all that. Even though so you learn from Prince, cool, right? So he said, you know, he was like kind of geeking over Michael, but he was geeking more to Jimmy Jam. He's like, Jimmy Jam,
Right, right.
you my idol, da 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 da. And he said that Rhythm Nation is his album that he always wants to achieve to because
Interesting.
of the production value that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis put in.
Right.
Same for me as well. I put it as a top 4 album of all time. So
Mhm.
he said that Michael was kind of getting that, oh, he's not really paying attention to me. So what Michael did was that loosely, because I got to listen to the podcast again, he took one of the videotapes, he was putting it in, he's like, oh, this is me in Africa building the hospital for the African kids.
Oh, yeah.
Put another videotape in. Oh, this is me leading a leader at another country. Another videotape. Oh, this is me screaming the fans, going, Michael. Like, and
Oh,
Quest
yeah.
was like, so
Seats.
he's bringing his own highlight reel? And he's like, yeah. And that's like, yeah. And I was like, if I was Michael Jackson, I want to do that as well. But this is what Dallas said. He said Michael was the only one that everybody loved, even political leaders, no matter how divided you were, they loved
Across
Michael.
the
And
board.
and see what happened. He was invited every Muslim countries he was invited to. Russia hit him. Stranger in Moscow.
Yep.
Russia hit him from America.
Mhm.
At the time, America loved him. Africa loved him. You remember in '93 he went down, he was
I remember.
guarded and all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the only artist that can do that. Nobody can do it no more. Not even Beyonce can touch that. Michael was the only one to connect worldies like that. When he sounds like, that's why Michael was different. And it's a black man. Mic drop, mic drop, mic drop, mic drop.
It just goes to show you how we are loved out here, what we can do. You know, Mike led with love with his shit. That,
Yep.
and it speaks
And it
for
was
itself.
shown. It speaks for itself.
And so y'all, anybody can. I don't believe they're talking about. Listen, these brothers were exceptional at what they did. They was and Mike took it to the highest level of stardom and all that kind of shit. But he got there because he put in the work, and he was
Mm-hmm.
on his business. He was doing what he needed to do, and
You
he was
did.
in with everybody. He was from a kid. They done seen him grow. He always brought joy to people. Now, there go Michael. You can go, if you
All the
want to
time.
argue, go argue with them people that's fainting, because they'll tell you that's they ain't
Yeah,
dealing. That's
yeah.
it is
Mike
what
was
it is.
different. Mike's different.
Just as Prince
Yeah.
got his thing, it is what it is. Why we're talking about it today? That's because Prince was fabulous. He was
Mhm.
spectacular. With nobody touching what Prince was doing. But both of them cats, exceptional, man.
Amen.
And that's why.
And last
Go ahead. Go ahead. We're gonna end it on this.
last thing about Prince before we end it off right here. So I wanted to say this back in the symposium, bring back the symposium real quick.
Mhm.
When y'all was talking about what Prince did this weekend, he was performing at Universal City in LA during the 1999 tour.
Mhm.
Um, and y'all was wondering like why he performed Moonbeam Levels on that show. I think that was the only time he
Mhm.
played Moonbeam Levels in that show. So remember how the time weren't allowed to play LA and New York because it felt like they was gonna show them up.
Mhm.
Universal Studio is the LA show. So I think Prince kicked the time off that tour. It's like, this is my shit. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna showcase out to them fans out there,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and I'm gonna introduce Movie Levels. I think that was a show and now show. So
Oh,
that's why I wanted to answer that question since last Saturday. That's why I wanted to mention that to you. And
gotcha.
D'Angelo, you listening to that? That's why.
Hilarious. All
That's why
right.
the
All
time
right.
wasn't there.
Well, yo, man, Randy, thank you so much. Where can people reach you online?
Yes. I wish I wrote it down right here on this nice little thing right here. But you can reach me at Poppy Funk Groove on IG at Poppy Funk Groove. I'm also a playlist curator, so if you like conceptual playlists that run like albums, you just hit play and run like an album. You're not gonna find 500 songs. The most you might find is 20, 25 songs, all conceptual. Find me at Curated by Randy. At Curated by Randy. And also I do DJ as well. So if
Oh,
y'all need, and listen, I got all the Prince music, I got all the bootlegs, I got the live shows, I got all that. If you need me to DJ a party, I said just like Kim Parker, the parties, right? Come hire me at DJ by Randy. Come holler at me. You can find me that on IG, Twitter, at Poppy Fun Groove as well. You can find me there. I talk about everything on there, not just by Prince, but everything on there. I call myself a musicologist, so
all
that's
right.
where you can find me.
All right. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you have enjoyed this conversation. Please go hit up Randy and check him out at his places on social media. With that said, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.